consequence that people who make images of God tend to make images of God looking like themselves. So when you go to the Buddhists, and Buddhism has spread from India, you don't find it in India anymore, though it was a reform movement in Hinduism. You find it in Sri Lanka, Cambodia, in Japan. Now if you go to Sri Lanka, Buddha looks like a Sri Lankan. If you go to Cambodia, he looks like a Cambodian. You go to Japan, he looks like a Japanese. This is the nature of people. When they're going to represent the God to their own people, they try to make that God look like themselves. Right? So this is the natural consequence which happens from trying to represent God in His creation. The other form, shirk by deification, this involves giving Allah's attributes to His creation. We spoke about that in Shiaism and etc. Now, whether we look at individuals, and I mentioned as one example the Nusayris, which is a branch of Shiaism, followed by the ruling class of Syria. Right? The Nusayris, Hafid Asad, his son, and the others, they belong to this group of Shiites who call themselves Alawis. They're called Alawis or Nusayris. They believe, and the mass of Syrians don't believe this. Mass of Syrians are quote-unquote Sunni Muslims. But the ruling class, they believe that Allah became manifest in human form as Muhammad sallallahu Ali and Salman al-Farisi. This is their belief. And this takes them right out of Islam. That is kufr in reality. Right? Now, also, if we look at Sufi groups who have given powers, amongst Muslims who call themselves Sunni Muslims, you have those who have given powers of Allah to human beings. Powers which only belong to Allah. And where they have done that, they have committed shirk by deification. The statement of Al-Hallaj, saying, Ana al-Haq, I am the embodiment of truth. As Allah said, describing Himself, Wahu al-Haq, He describes Himself as being al-Haq. For any Muslim to say, Ana al-Haq, he's basically saying, I'm Allah. So he's giving Allah's attribute of being the embodiment of truth to himself. This becomes shirk by deification. The other area of shirk by deification is an area that many of us have inadvertently participated in when we went to our high school and we learned Einstein's theory of relativity. When we wrote in our books E equals mc squared, we were writing a statement of shirk. E equals mc squared is a statement of shirk. Yes, people split the atom with it and everything else, but the reality from an Islamic perspective is that this statement E equals mc squared, which is E represents energy, equals mc, that is the square, this is the mass times the square of the speed of light. This is how it is put in actual formula. But when it is expressed as a statement, it is said that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. This is what they say. Energy transforms into matter, matter transforms back into energy. This is the concept, a closed system. So when you say energy can neither be created nor destroyed, what are you saying here? You're saying that energy has no beginning nor end. And that is Allah. Only Allah is without beginning or end. And Allah, of course, has said in the Quran, وَهُوَ خَالِقُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. He is the creator of everything. Therefore, energy was created by Allah. And Allah also said, كُلُّ مَا عَلَيْهَا فَانٍ. Everything in this world will disappear. It will end. go out of existence, and Allah will bring it back. So everything has an end. Energy will end. It has a beginning and it has an end. That is the correct belief. So therefore, those of us that are still in our studies and we have to learn this thing, in high school, what do? The teacher asks you what's Einstein's theory of relativity. What are you going to write in your book now? Now if you write, hey, this is the statement of shirk, I can't write it, guess what? You just failed your examination. So what you do is when you write this, E equals mc squared, you put in brackets after it, by man. By humankind. Okay, you're covered. Well, we accept that. As human beings, we cannot create or destroy energy. Now, of course, the Darwinian theory of evolution, this is also an explanation for everything which exists, as they say, without having to resort to God. So they elevate the principle of survival of the fittest to God. It becomes the God. This is what is creating and developing and molding and shaping and all these different things. This principle of survival of the fittest. And, of course, as Muslims, we reject that. It is all in accordance with Allah's plan. Now, the last category of shirk is that in Tawheed al-Ibadah, that is in the area of worship, where people have called human beings to worship other than Allah. And the basic message of the prophets was to call people to the worship of Allah alone. As Allah said, وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ. In Surah An-Nahl, verse 36, Allah said there, surely I have sent to every nation a messenger, saying, worship Allah and avoid false gods. This is the essence of the message of Islam. So, major shirk has been divided now into two aspects, what we would call ash-shirk al-akbar, major shirk, and ash-shirk al-asghar, minor shirk. Major shirk is this act of worshipping others instead of Allah, besides Allah, along with Allah. All of these practices become a form, one or other, of shirk. And as we said before, as Tawheed has external aspects, shirk, and internal aspects, shirk also has external and internal aspects. That a person may commit shirk externally by bowing before idols, bowing before others beside Allah, and internally they can commit shirk by emotionally attaching themselves to some aspects of His creation. This is why Prophet ﷺ had said, Ta'isa abdud dirham wa abdud dinar. The worshipper of the dirham and the dinar will always be miserable. He called them worshippers of the dirham and the dinar, meaning the dollars and the pounds. Right? Those who worship it. So he has identified, meaning how does a person worship money? Money becomes the goal in life. It becomes the be-all and the end-all of everything. Everything is judged according to money. Is it going to benefit me monetarily? Is it not going to benefit me monetarily? I do or I don't do, all on the basis of money. Then money becomes our God. And the God may be our desires. As Allah said, أَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ. Have you not seen the one who takes his desires as his God? Where the person does or doesn't do based on his or her desires. That's what is the deciding factor which controls whether they should do, whether they shouldn't do. It is all based on their desires. Then the desires become our gods. And Shirk al-Asghar, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had said in a well-known hadith, the thing I fear most for you is ash-shirk al-asghar, minor shirk. The companions asked, O Messenger of Allah, what is minor shirk? He replied, ar-riya. Ar-riya, that is praying or acting, doing an act of worship for admiration and praise, to impress others. This is called ar-riya. And he said, for verily Allah will say on the day of resurrection, when people are receiving their rewards, go to those for whom you are showing off in the material world and see if you can find any reward for them. That practice, riya, destroys the value of all of our good deeds. And ar-riya is something we have to be particularly careful about, as some of the companions like Ibn Abbas said, riya is like the creeping, or it's more hidden than the creeping of a black ant on a black stone in the middle of a moonless night. This is how subtle it is. More subtle than a black ant creeping on a black stone in the middle of a moonless night. Meaning that it can catch us without us realizing it. Meaning we have to be constantly vigilant to ensure that our practices are free from riya, things which would expose us to desiring the admiration, the praise, etc. of others. And when we find ourselves in such a situation, then we should say the dua, Allahumma inna na'udhu bika min an nushrika bika shay'an na'lamuhu wa ma la na'lamu wa nastaghfiruka lima la na'lam. That is, Allahumma inna na'udhu bika أن نشرك بك شيئا نعلم ونستغفرك لما لا نعلم. O Allah, we seek refuge in you from knowingly committing shirk with you, and we ask your forgiveness for what we do not know about. That represents the basic aspects of shirk in the major areas of Tawheed. Now, what remains for us is looking at shirk in some particular aspects where people have gone astray. One of the major areas wherein people have gone astray in shirk is in the area of, in Allah's names and attributes, is in the area of what we refer to as al-ulu, or the transcendency of Allah. The concept of Allah being above and beyond His creation. A very important concept. Because for the mass of Muslims today, if you ask them where is Allah,